But this is not an isolated incident. Moreover, it is not confined to Northeast alone. In different parts of our country, why should we attack each other? North Indians should feel safe in South India. The Central Indians should feel safe in Northeast. Northeast people should feel safe in any part of the country. After all, this is one country. So this is not merely a law and order situation or merely an incident. This is related to mentality and lack of awareness. Because we have seen this kind of racial slur or abusing on the basis of somebody's religion or background, like different regions or different caste, creed. These are matters which we have to come together. It's not a isolated incident, or it is not to be treated.
Hi there, good morning and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning into the Breakfast Club. I'm Kritsween Balian. Today, we're going to be talking about a quiet but a powerful shift in how India connects. Beyond metros in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, social companionship is becoming the next big digital trend. Young Indians are turning to platforms like Friend, Vibely, even Dost, not for dating or doom scrolling, but for conversation, connection, and a sense of belonging. We ask why this trend is exploding outside big cities and what does it say about loneliness, aspiration, and India's changing social fabric. We start with that as our spotlight subject, and then we tell you all about one of the most powerful civic campaigns of India. What began as a simple question around public behavior and hygiene has grown into a nationwide civic campaign, pushing all of us to rethink everyday habits we've long ignored. A person of interest this morning is Odette Katrak, the woman behind the Stop India Spitting campaign movement. Now, we'll also then touch upon the Paytm story. We'll be going over to the founder of Paytm, which has become the first fintech to go live in production on the Central Bank of UAE's Open Finance Framework in April 2025. We'll talk to this Indian entrepreneur who's taking homegrown innovation to the world and changing how money moves across borders. That and much more coming up this morning. Well, India's creator economy is interestingly moving beyond reels. A new set of applications is turning conversation itself into a paid product. These are micro-companionship platforms. Users pay for one-to-one conversations. Time and attention are the value, not content or the followers. This is very different from dating apps. Dating apps, remember, sell the promise of a match. But here, the conversation is the end goal. Creators earn directly from each call and expectations stop when the call ends. What's driving this shift is non-metro. India, smartphone access, remember, is wider. Private conversations are harder offline. Voice feels easier than text, especially in low bandwidth settings. The people earning here are not influencers. Many are young creators from smaller towns. Women form a large share of hosts on these platforms. And there's no need for a follower base. Consistency matters more than visibility. The money model is also simple. Users buy credits and credits are spent on calls and gifts. Creators earn per minute, platforms take a cut. And as this grows, safety and moderation also remain a key concern. Live conversations, remember, are difficult to monitor. How platforms handle this will decide how far this goes. So let's bring in our guests this morning to break this phenomena down and what really does this mean for India going forward. First up, joining us is Amitabh Kumar. He's co-founder of Contrails AI. Amitabh, you've spoken at length about the kind of challenges that come with the whole concept of social companionship. But for all those tuning in, all of those hearing for this for the very first time, tell us what this is all about and why are we looking at this growing trend in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities specifically?
Yeah, good morning to everybody firstly. And companionship is a human nature. We all want good friends. We want significant others. So that is the basics. And now we add internet to it. So it just makes a perfect match that if you're alone, you can find people, and it is almost being offered as a service, where you can say friendship as a service or companionship as a service. So technology meets human behavior, and that will always be positive, and it's a good business model. Business model is also important because there's a lot of funding here, because you're getting monetized from day zero because people pay for it. What you said about the movement from big cities to small towns or rural India, well, that's the power of internet and democratization of information. That the same entertainment that you and I consume is being consumed across India, across small town and rural, and that is also increasing. Let's have a relationship. Let's get out of our community. Let's explore new avenues. And internet has ran on that for a very, very long time. I mean, chat rooms were popular, and even before that, 1-800 numbers used to be extremely popular, where people used to call these party lines. So connecting with other humans outside our network is a natural tendency. And these companion apps have very well monetized it and designed it, where we can meet anybody in the country, in the world, and have a conversation with them. So that's it in the basic aspect of it. A lot of fun, a lot of positivity.
It's also broken the language barrier, right? So you can speak to people in all regional languages, Marathi, Telugu, Hindi, of course. So that's another added advantage here. But do tell us, Amitabh, with this concept coming in, being witnessed, the kind of money that's being pumped into this model, is the consumption also increasing rapidly? Have you been able to, sort of figure out what numbers suggest, what data suggests, and how much of a user base these applications are seeing on a yearly basis now?
This data would have to be verified, but just on the number of apps that have come in and the number of platforms that have mushroomed in 2025, one can estimate that this is becoming an extremely popular trend. The little bit I know about doing workshops across the country and going and interacting with people in schools and colleges, that it is becoming very popular amongst young people for sure, because that's also the age when you want to grow your network, which leads to a lot of safety challenges, because this is a new product, this is a new platform, and new norms have to be taught. Nobody has told children or adults how to behave on companion apps, right? This is not a social cultural norm. It will be created as it becomes more popular. There will be new etiquettes that will be made. So interesting experiment. But because there are young people coming, new people coming, people from different cultures coming and interacting with them, the normal social deviance also rises, right? So it's just a statistic that if there are 100 people, 10 will have antisocial behavior. So if there are 100 conversations and they are all human conversations, 10 conversations are bound to go negative. And if we look into our lives, if we talk to 100 people, 10 conversations are not positive. It's just the way we are sadly programmed. So trust and safety issues become a huge priority. And that is where we usually see a lot of gaps. In the United States, some companion apps, even some AI apps have tried this. And there have been major failures. And I think.
So where have these apps, and you may not name these applications, but where have some of them failed in terms of ensuring safety and privacy? And how are they different from, let's say, your regular dating applications? On dating apps, what we learn is that people are asked to share pictures or put some images, give out their name, etc. Now, people can forge that, but how is this model typically different, and can, to an extent, ensure that a person's personal details are not with the user?
Oh, totally. See, like you said, the first part, safety and privacy are always at loggerheads. There is no way to make your and my conversation safe without monitoring it at every second, because my behavior you cannot control. So the only way you can do it is by being proactive. Number two, without having my information, how do you even do a know your customer? Who has logged in? Who is on the other side? Either the platform has data of both the people, has verified them. How do you know that just because I'm of a certain age, I am not a criminal, right? How do you know that my behavior is going to change? So privacy is going to be a major issue with DPDPA coming in, later later next year. It is going to be complex for these apps to implement safety by design. I've done a couple of interviews and I was told that multiple of the Indian apps say that they have some safety measures in place. The truth remains, audio content moderation in real time is extremely expensive. So what we do at Contrails, we build these AI models for trust and safety. So they are doing it, but deploying them is expensive. And also, like you said, multiple languages. Is there a data set in all Indian languages? In the popular ones, there is. But how are you going to monitor it? Number two, minors. How are we going to make sure that minors are not using the services? Because at the end of it, it's paid companionship.
Yeah.
So
there are no terms and conditions, is it? You're not supposed to
terms-
submit any sort of details, personal details, none of that. None of those guardrails are in place.
All the social media platforms have a guardrails in place that you cannot be 13 and below, and we know how many children are using social media platforms. So unless terms and conditions are implemented, and to deploy that you need technology, right? And this is where the monetization part comes in. So unless there is a very specific law with a very heavy fine, businesses are not motivated to invest in trust and safety. And this is a global problem, not just an India problem. And I am sure that at least 10% of the users are having a bad experience. Plus, please look at it. This is companionship, which very quickly goes to love and sexual behavior. And there is money involved. Everywhere in the society where you have these two things coming in, scams, mental health issues, turn out to be byproducts of it. So
yeah,
this is
because
a
in
place-
reality, and I find this particularly interesting, Amitabh, in reality, these models are being sold as not so much of a dating app model. It's more of, come join this app to strike conversations that are meaningful, get away with loneliness, with isolation. That's the way it's marketing itself. Do you think that, and obviously because how much privacy, how much safety can you ensure at your part, like you rightly said? Do you think more often than not it crosses that and slips into the domain of intimacy and sexual indulgence?
Oh, totally. These are not apps where you're talking about religion and philosophy. I mean, we are a patriarchal society. Male loneliness is an epidemic across the globe. And I'm sure it's the same for female, just the research hasn't been done. So the second two people of the same age meet who are lonely, intimacy is what they are seeking. So while these are being sold as companionship, friendship, that's all marketing. At the core of it, and I don't have data, but just from experience and working with people who use these apps, it is outright multiple conversations will get into intimacy, sexual conversations, and trying to build a bond and friendship, which is completely fine amongst adults. Why not?
Yeah.
But when that happens and it goes wrong, and this is where all the viewers can think about their ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends and how things have gone bad, that is exactly what the platform needs to handle. Is the platform trained and equipped to handle it? Is there technology that can provide the mental health support that somebody needs when they go through a heartbreak or a friendship break or a companionship break? These are complex questions and the answers are not there because it's a new technology. New
also,
technology
whether the
always
app
needs
can
something.
actually deliver or do justice to users seeking an emotional connection and not, let's say, superficial interactions. Are any of those guardrails in place? That's a question that stays still. But I do have a second speaker joining us this morning. Amitabh, stay on with us. Tamsil Hussain, founder and chief executive of Pluck, is with us this morning. We were struggling a little bit with your connection, Mr. Hussain. Good morning. Thank you for being with us.
He's a close friend.
Good morning, it's
close
amazing.
friend.
Lovely, great. We have two friends on the panel this morning. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, Tamsil, now, again, we want to go back to the drawing board a little bit. We have at length discussed a lot of aspects, including safety, privacy, and where do all of these factors find place in this concept called social companionship. But for everyone wondering, and a lot of people are still not used to this concept or have not heard of this concept, especially in tier 1 cities. It's not something which is being seen or practiced heavily. Tell us, how does it work? So there is a user and there is a creator.
Yeah.
Who are these creators? How does this model really function?
So essentially, creator economy in India has been booming in a big way, right? It's massive, and it's growing every day. Like you see a lot of creators on Instagram and YouTube. But what we started seeing with Vibely and Friend is that creators have new monetization opportunities, right? These are creators from tier two, tier three cities, and sometimes even cities, tier one cities, right? Some of these creators usually simply you see like a anonymous picture of them on Vibely and Friend, and you see a call button and a video button. And if you can pay anywhere between 1 rupee to 15 rupees and actually get on a call with them or get on a video call if you want to pay higher, in simple terms. How it essentially works is you keep paying as you keep talking and having conversations with them. According to me, this is a model that has
But who
been
qualifies
while
as a creator? So
Well, I think
do the
a lot of the
apps have a
creators-
way to go about this? Who's going to be accepted as a creator, who people can approach, users can approach for a conversation? How does it work?
So essentially, I think these are selected profiles by the apps that are selected on your home screen. So as someone who's actually worked with various apps and worked on my own app, I know that a lot of people pre-select the creators, and the creators earn anywhere between 30,000 to 40,000 and sometimes more. And then the profiles are pushed to the users in tier two, tier three cities, and they can easily just simply call anonymously and pay as you go. The reason why I think it's definitely working beyond, while India's mental health crisis, which is huge, which a lot of people call, a lot of young people want to have conversations. A lot of young people want to also, if you notice on Friend, people are learning English, right? People want to know how to talk in English, engage in English. People want to know how to break that first ice where people can have a conversation with an opposite sex or with a person in a new city and be able to have a conversation without any restrictions. From what I've seen on apps from a safety perspective on Friend is that you do see like a police verification that says that if you do any unsolicited conversations, which I don't know how much it works, you can actually keep having conversations and pay as you go.
Okay. Tamsil, but what's the one concern? I've spoken about this already, and we were discussing a little while earlier, Amitabh and I, on what more needs to be done. And since this is an evolving domain still, there's lots more checks and balances that need to be ensured on part of these apps to begin with. But as per you, what's the single biggest worry? So the thought is great. All right, we're going to try and look for a way how people don't feel lonely anymore. They have a way and means to interact with people beyond their reach, virtually. But what's the single biggest concern for you?
I think the big concern, if I give you a real case study, and this is something that I observed young people using in Nagaland, young people using in even very remote areas in Gujarat as well, where one, there is no moderation, right? People hide and have these conversations and collect money and are able to do this. So I think app moderation is definitely, as something that Ami mentioned as well, is a huge deal. While it's not like a social media moderation, like as Facebook or Instagram, where people are uploading pictures, but how do you really moderate conversations that are happening between two people? We've seen some of the biggest models where last year OnlyFans in US was able to generate the highest amount of profit, right? And they have a lot of these, it's a different app, which is completely for a different purpose. But this trend actually started from a platform called Omegle, where you can log on and have conversations, which is very unsolicited. And there were the biggest moderation concerns. While I think the apps are looking at payment as the first moderation tool, I don't know how far the moderation will go. So in my opinion, safety and especially minors joining the app, and this is clearly evident, it's happening in tier 2, tier 3 cities.
What's being said is, very interestingly, that this is the coming of social media 2.0. Amitabh, tell us whether you agree with that, or would that be too premature? And secondly, once again, to understand where we're headed, do you think this entire model is going to next penetrate into the urban India?
I don't know if it's social media 2.0, maybe social network 2.0 is something that I would like to look at it. Second part is what we are forgetting is transparency by the platforms, right? So who is on the other end. Like Tamsil said, there is a picture, there is a name, and you can connect based on the money you pay. Now, is that a person? Is that an AI? I mean, we develop AI tools, and I can tell you, I can create a pretty good chat companion with voice, and it will be very difficult to tell whether it's a real person or not. So I think transparency of the platform is part one. They will certainly get more popular. Tamsil mentioned the OnlyFans model, and it's a very different sort of a space. So while the marketing is companionship and friendship, young teenagers, young women and men, and very rightly so adults, if they want to get together and get intimate, they really should. But there is money involved. There will also be a social backlash because let's be honest, we are still a very patriarchal, conservative setup. Young people are trying to break away from it, but whenever cultures clash, there is a problem. India still has laws such as outraging the modesty. The BNS also has defamation. So when does the paid companionship turn into problems of addiction, problems of harassment?
Yeah.
When is my intimate audio, which was recorded for moderation, given out to public to a honey bot?
I think it's a challenge that comes with everything online. It applies to everything online. Tamsil, very quickly before we wrap up, I do want to ask you this. Of the conversation we've had, my analysis is this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the whole concept of social companionship is far closer to online dating than it is to fan engagement, in the content creator world. Would that be correct?
I think right now, what I can clearly say is that you're right. I think it is way more closer to online dating. I would say it's a step before online dating. But what's something we have to keep an eye on is when Fortnite became a huge thing, which is a game which people literally collect their pocket monies, young kids, and blow up all the pocket monies on virtual assets. This is one of those apps and this is one of those trends, you can call it social network 2.0, where a lot of pay as you go would see a lot of pocket money and a lot of money that is being saved by young people going into this, mainly to be able to improve from a behavior perspective, interactions, meet new people, fight loneliness, and at the same time, do things without parental consent. So I think would be my take in that sense.
Okay, so we're going to have to wait it out and see how far this goes in years to come. But thank you so much for joining us, both Amitabh and Tamsil. It's been a pleasure having both of you on The Breakfast Club. We head into a very quick break. With that, coming right up, we shift our focus to one of India's most powerful civic campaigns. We will be going over to our person of interest this morning, Odette Katrak, the woman behind Stop India Spitting campaign movement, in just a bit. We'll be right back.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Another breaking news where Khaleda Zia, former Prime Minister and Bangladesh's tallest leader, passes away. Thrice former Prime Minister and icon of democracy, Begum Khaleda Zia, passed away Tuesday morning while under treatment at the capital's Apollo Hospital. She was 80 years old and her health deteriorated rapidly since late last month. She was admitted to Evercare Hospital on November 26th for the last time. Joining us now is CNN News 18's Kamalika Sengupta. Kamalika, very good morning to you. Now, Khaleda Zia's passing marks an end of an era in Bangladeshi's politics. So how is the BNP responding internally? And what is the immediate political vacuum that has been created after her passing?
Really a very sad moment for Bangladesh because Khaleda Zia, the first female Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, she has died, and she was actually struggling. She was battling her health. She had cirrhosis of liver and a lot of other ailments, and she was for a long time. She was in Evercare Hospital. We know that Tariq Rahman, son of Khaleda Zia, has just returned and from London after 17 years. Tariq Rahman went and saw Khaleda Zia last Sunday. And this is obviously a very crucial time also in Bangladesh. And amidst such a scenario, such a situation, Khaleda Zia's death is definitely a very big loss for the politics of Bangladesh. And Tariq Rahman, definitely it is quite obvious that Tariq Rahman, who has come after 17 years in Bangladesh, and the way we have seen that Tariq Rahman has been appreciated by the BNP supporters and the followers of BNP, it's quite clear that the baton will be taken over by Tariq Rahman. But the thing is that this is a very sad moment for Bangladesh, because Khaleda Zia was over 80 years old. She is no more. She was the former prime minister. So definitely a name in Bangladesh. And this is a very sad moment for the people of Bangladesh and the BNP supporters.
Right. Now, with the February elections just weeks away, how might this development affect the campaign dynamics, now especially with Tariq Rahman on the ground?
See, we have seen the amount of support, the amount of people gathering to see Tariq Rahman when he arrived in Bangladesh. So quite clear is that in this election, definitely BNP and there will be definitely anyway BNP is, all the opinion polls and other polls are saying that BNP has an edge. But definitely this is a loss for them, emotional loss for them. But she was ailing for a long time, and since election is a few weeks now, definitely the loss of Khaleda Zia will be there, and the BNP Tariq Rahman will be taking the entire baton. And it's quite clear that Tariq Rahman has established himself as definitely the next person after Khaleda Zia in BNP. Definitely the sympathy wave will also be there in the favor of BNP, because definitely Khaleda Zia is a iconic name in Bangladesh, in Bangladesh national politics. Obviously, she has also an international identity too. So definitely Tariq Rahman will be taking his mother's legacy. And it's quite clear that with elections coming, BNP is going to really, it's a very big loss for BNP, but Tariq Rahman will be taking it over.
Right. Now, as Bangladesh is still transitioning after the student uprising that actually ousted the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and eventually banned her party from contesting the elections. Now, does Zia's death add further unpredictability to the security and political landscape of Bangladesh? What's your assessment of this?
Can you please repeat the question?
Right. Just your assessment of, like, Bangladesh is still transitioning after the protest and death of the former oust of the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and eventually banning her party from contesting the elections. Now, does Khaleda Zia's death further adds to that unpredictability? What's your assessment?
See, this is definitely a void, definitely a loss for the politics of Bangladesh. But what we can see that with the last 2 years, BNP has been preparing itself for this election, and Tariq Rahman has also been preparing himself and the BNP party for this election. That's quite clear. And though it's definitely going to be an emotional shock for BNP, but somehow down the line, Tariq Rahman was dealing with all the political activities for the last 1.5 years because Khaleda Zia was ill. So it's quite obvious that they are going to, obviously, it's going to be a very big emotional shock, and also political shock. But Tariq Rahman, what the experts say of Bangladesh, that Tariq Rahman has successfully almost taken over the baton. So definitely it's going to be something which is important.
Right. And how has the Indian government responded to this, if they have officially? And are we seeing any calibrated language that's being used? From India's standpoint, like, does her passing marks an end of a particular phase in India-Bangladesh relationship?
Definitely, because she was an iconic politician there. Definitely, it's a very remarkable turning point for Bangladesh.
Welcome back. Public spitting is something most of us hate seeing, so we look away. But that silence may be exactly why it continues. During COVID-19, spitting was briefly taken seriously because it was linked to disease. Once the fear faded, the habit returned. Many still believe it's disgusting but harmless. Medical evidence says otherwise. So why don't we call it out? Why does this continue in public spaces we all share? Is this only the problem of people who spit or also of those who stay quiet? Let's bring in our guest this morning, Odette Carteret, the driving force behind the Stop India Spitting movement. Hi there, thank you for being with us. Viewers, she's been confronting this behavior on streets, in schools and through public campaigns using facts, humor and everyday conversations. Odette, first up, thank you for joining us. You say silence gives spitters a license. You've said it again and again. Be honest with us, why are Indians so uncomfortable calling this out in public?
First thing is, this is something very disgusting to watch. When I do sessions in schools, I start by asking the children, do you like to watch someone spitting? If so, if you don't like, raise your hand. Every hand goes up. It's a very disgusting thing to watch. And believe it or not, why people don't do anything about it, it's so disgusting that you would like to tune it out. And before COVID, that sounded like the most sensible thing to do. You're walking on a road, you're coming in close contact with someone who's spitting. Just tune it out. So I give the analogy of lightning and thunder. In that analogy, the lightning comes first and the thunder follows. In this case, the sound comes first. That awful, disgusting sound, guttural sound, I call it, yeah. And that sound warns you that the person is going to spit. So most people just manage to tune it out and turn the other way. So it has become a conditioned response of the large number of people. If someone is spitting, tune it out. You don't spit, it's not your problem.
Ms. Carteret, most people think spitting is gross, but it's also harmless. What's the one medical fact that should permanently kill that excuse?
Yes. So the first thing is that during COVID, I used to again ask this, what are the words that you use to describe spitting? People will say disgusting, dreadful, distasteful, dirty, but the biggest D is dangerous. And as you rightly said, people think it's harmless. It's not harmless because I'll give you these facts very shortly, that how much of 1 ml of sputum, how many bacteria it causes. Because at the time when I launched it, it was on the COVID platform. And that is why the petition on March 16th, which I took out through my group at that time called Beautiful Bengaluru, which is today called Beautiful Bharat. It was called Restrict Coronavirus, Make Spitting Punishable. In March 2020, this was a crisis for us, for the whole country, for the whole world. But this got the attention of people who normally turn the other way, because I don't want to get COVID because somebody else is spitting around me, right?
Yeah.
So that became the most important point. COVID is over. So I have this fact to share that COVID killed, I think, close to 5.5 lakh in India, the reported numbers, over the whole pandemic. And the shocking fact is TB kills between 4.3 to 4.4 people per annum in India every single year. So the spread of TB is exactly the same way through the aerosols, through spitting. So it is as big a problem. And this brings me to the question of whose problem is it really? See, a lot of people who do not spit think, I don't spit, it doesn't concern me, it's not my problem. I have been asked by people, why do you even talk about this disgusting subject? Every time you talk on our WhatsApp chat, you talk about spitting. And I replied with, I'm sorry, I have a filthy one-track mind, I can only think about spitting. I bring in a lot of humor for people to be able to talk about a subject which is distasteful.
Normalize it. Okay, Odette, what's even more shocking and worrying is, and you've spoken about it at length, pan masala advertisements. They're everywhere. In fact, many are endorsed by big celebrities. Should these celebrities or people be held responsible for the consequences these products have on public health?
So first of all, the amount of advertising, you turn at every corner and you see someone someone is spitting, right? So I'm sorry, you turn at every corner, you see someone is spitting, no doubt. But how many of the advertisements we see selling pan masala? I the other day crossed a 7-year-old girl. I'm here in Bangalore, in Karnataka. A 7-year-old schoolgirl in her uniform. She was chewing pan masala, and I got the smell, and I asked her why. She said, "My friends all chew." So people do not understand this is an addictive habit, and it needs to stop. So the problem, the accountability here, as you're asking me, is definitely why are all our celebrities endorsing products which create more litter and more spitting on our streets. We have another campaign going, apart from Stop India Spitting, which is talking about a movement to ease out public spitting. There's another campaign, Enforce the Gutka Ban, which actually those gutka packets in that plastic sachet are banned as per the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016. So different angles to it. There is no messaging saying that spitting is not okay. Let me ask you, when you go out, you will see no honking, no littering, no left turn, no U-turn. Do you even see a single no spitting signs? And I think that is one of the crux points of our campaign. Whichever city you are in, please, you can access these in 14 languages from Stop India Spitting Instagram, which is our Instagram page. And we want everyone to start putting no spitting signs. We want everyone to start having conversations. Every pawn shop which is selling, they are selling cigarettes, they have a mandatory no smoking sign.
Yeah.
That is as per the Consumption of Tobacco Products Act. Likewise, we need a no spitting sign because it is in that same place that pan packet is given. So through many of our drives across states, across cities, through volunteers across our network, when we have these drives, we educate the pan masala, the pan shops. When you're giving that packet, please tell them no spitting, no litter.
Alright, what about the issue of public urination? That's another thing that we are fighting, battling on an everyday basis. What is the larger problem there?
I think the disease potential, the urination factor is equally disgusting as spitting, but the disease potential from spitting is much, much higher. We have had medical evidence that that tiny droplet of saliva, COVID taught us about aerosols, right? So you don't even need a droplet of saliva, you need aerosols. And one droplet can travel for 5,000 feet. And in that 1 ml of saliva, 10,000 tubercle bacteria reside. So the disease causing potential, not only COVID, TB, respiratory ailments, there are a whole lot of ailments. Incidentally, in the Swachh Sarvekshan bucket, there are 4 things: no littering, no urinating, no spitting, and no open defecation. Thankfully, our countries probably got over open defecation, but these other 3 are definitely things that need to be worked on.
Alright, if you have the power, if you could change just one thing tomorrow, be it a law, signage, education, or advertising around these products, which one do you think would actually reduce spitting the fastest?
Every school needs to have education on the fact that spitting is not an acceptable thing. In civic sense, it needs to be pulled in. We need no spitting signs at every corner, literally at every corner. We find few signs, and I think the people here who are on this, watching this, have the power to just simply download, put a no spitting sign. We have brought in cartoons, we have brought in music also, incidentally. I hope I get the chance to tell you about that. As I said, every theatre, every film should have this. It's not just about Swachh Bharat, do not litter. enough people are saying do not litter, not enough people are saying do not spit.
Okay, that's a wonderful thought. But do tell us about the music, tell us about the cartoons and your final thoughts, because we're almost wrapping up the conversation. Odette.
So one is, it's a dirty, disgusting, unpleasant subject. How do we get the attention of people who don't like this subject, which is really everyone who doesn't spit? So I brought in music, I've brought in cartoons, I've brought in all kinds of different media. We even had an online national quiz on public spitting in the midst of COVID. So public spitting, the subject of spitting is dinner time conversation today in many homes. It is being talked about on national TV, internationally also. And I think that's a big difference from earlier, where people felt, oh, it is a disgusting issue, right? But by brushing it under the carpet, nothing will change. If we want the things to change, if we want to be an India to be a nation which is not ridiculed because people are spitting all around us, right? So you may be aware that in the UK, in Brent, in Leicester, in so many different parts of the world, Indians are under flak, getting really roasted for the fact that we are dirtying public spaces with pan spitting. So there's a rap which we have called Spit Master. The circumstances that this was created, let me share with you. In May of this year, I did to celebrate 5 years or to commemorate 5 years of the campaign. I did a national Zoom online meeting, which we had people, about 35 to 40 people from all over the country. We had one gentleman from Pune who was a singer who created a song, sang it for us online. Actually, he knew Marathi, Hindi, English, Bengali. So it was going to be a song which had all of these, because this is a problem that we need to address in many different languages.
No, the cartoons anyway have made the conversation all the more relatable, interesting. But why don't you recite some verses of the song for us?
So we need to bring in music, we need to bring in cartoons. We have a person on our team who's a very senior person who does fantastic cartoons. Our bystander cartoon of person A versus person B is drawn by him, Suresh Randadat. We have brought in a lot of music, and I'm going to share with you my version of, everyone knows Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall, right? So here's my take on that. We can't be a good carnation. We need lots more self-control. Lots of fast bucks in those adverts. We can't leave that part alone. Hey celebs, leave those folks alone. Your endorsement means 1,000 more stains on the wall. We do need some education. We do need some mouth control. Pan masala on our pavements. Gutka stains won't go at all. Hey celebs, stain streets your fault alone. All in all, you're to blame for this gutka sinkhole. A country needs some education, not to spit on every wall. Let's call out this dreadful habit. Spitting isn't cool at all. So celebs, quit enticing folks to chew. Less litter, less stains can make our country new. See, all in all, it just depends on you.
Very creative, I must say, Odette, and so very thoughtful. Thank you so much for the wonderful singing. You've got a lovely voice, and thank you for the thought, the effort that you're putting into this campaign, and for once again bringing in so much awareness to the Breakfast Club and all those viewing the show this morning. All right, with that, we quickly shift our focus to the Other interesting story this morning. Joining us is Prabpreet Singh Gill, also known as Harry Gill. He works in Fintech, the systems that move money digitally. Harry Gill heads Pay10, a payments company operating across India and parts of the Middle East. His focus is simple: making digital payments faster, cheaper and less dependent on cards. He's also been closely involved with regulators in UAE as countries rethink how money moves between banks, apps and wallets. So let's bring him in this morning. Good morning, Mr. Gill. Pay10 has just become the first fintech to go live on the UAE Central Bank's Open Finance Framework. So congratulations on that. In simple words, why is this such a big moment for you?
Thank you for so much for having me on the show. It's absolutely a great, very achieving moment for us. Open finance framework is one of the most needed things across the globe. It's initially started in the UK, and now UAE has implemented the open finance framework in a much better and much more aggressive way and a much more simpler way. And we are the first entity in UAE to go live on open finance framework. It just tries to make, there are several parts of open finance framework. It divides itself into payment initiation, finance and data sharing with financial institutions. So it just breaks itself into three different parts. Yes, it is a great movement for Pay10, and it's going to be a great movement for the fintech in UAE itself.
Mr. Gill, for those who have never heard of open finance before, how would you explain what this actually means?
In layman's language, open finance does a very similar work what a domestic scheme will do in terms of payment initiation. Open finance helps large institutions get better understanding of the customer data and helps lending better. So that's the word from where open finance has been derived initially, to how simplified data can reach financial institutions for the customers in the most secured manner. Hence, it is a license which is given to certain entities which can protect the data and yet give an overview of the data to lenders to lend, give payment companies a smoother way of transacting, and then the viewing of the statements and everything, and how the data can be pulled and used for other value-added services.
Okay, and just so that we keep simplifying it, Mr. Gill, where will the biggest impact be felt? Will this make payments faster, safer, more seamless? If you were to pick one of these.
I think the most difference which will be felt will be faster payments and more on the merchant side of it, where the cost of payments will go down quite a lot than what currently UAE is facing in terms of the international schemes which are running in the country. So that will be the most impacted part. And of course, it will support for a lot of lending to SMEs and financial lending to SMEs, or for their working capital loans. I think these are two specifically, if you go, these are two areas which will have a great effect of this open finance.
For the Indian audience, UPI is a more relatable concept. So India has UPI, Mr. Gill, the UAE has open finance. Are these two ideas similar in spirit?
It is very similar. It is a more broader horizon version of UPI.
Okay.
So UPI currently only restricts to faster payments and only how we can get the interoperability of banks run correctly. So this also is a similar framework where interoperability of bank runs in a very faster way. So yes, it is similar, but it has just got more than UPI in terms of finance lending as well. But yes, it is similar. It will make payments faster. It will make payments cheaper, like the UPI is absolutely successful in India. Yes, it is on that ground, but rather than having a domestic scheme, countries are now focusing on open finance to enhance that domestic scheme footprint even larger with open finance, and letting more players to be part of the ecosystem to create not just a faster payment ecosystem, first a faster lending payment ecosystem as well.
Okay. Now, again, in the Indian context, many Indian businesses either operate in the Middle East or trade with the Middle East. How does this model, Pay10, make life easier for them?
Open finance just not itself cannot create that move for the Indian businesses. I think what Paytm is trying to do is club the open finance and the Paytm India license, trying to club both the licenses to make life smoother. This is just one example. Other companies could do the same, where people could have licenses in UAE, people could have license, cross-border licenses, what is particular a payment aggregator cross-border license in India, and join these licenses to make life smoother for the Indian merchants and Indian SMEs and Indian businesses trying to do businesses in UAE. And also for the other part, for people who are living in UAE and want to send money back home with open finance and connecting that with the dots of our remittance licenses in UAE, if you connect both the two, it will create a huge impact in terms of cost of sending money back home. So that is going to be a huge benefit for NRIs and people who are working in UAE or sending money back home. It will create a difference for cost for them. And in terms of businesses in India, for that, not just open finance, the Paytm India using its licenses in India has to connect with Paytm UAE to provide them a better service.
Sure. So what you're telling us is that open finance does make cross-border payments easier.
It is a first milestone to make cross-border payments seamless.
Okay, Mr. Gill, now very quickly, what excites you the most about what this unlocks for Paytm in the coming year?
So the Paytm strategy in general, why we have got our licenses abroad of course we originated from India, and now we've got licenses in UAE, we've got license in Bahrain, we've got license in Morocco. So the excitement behind Paytm is not building a fintech in a domestic market like India or a domestic market like UAE for a license which we have achieved. The larger picture where I see is how Paytm connect the dots and make interoperable more seamless. How can today somebody who has a Paytm app in UAE can come to India and use the same app and then connect with UPI when he or she or a foreign tourist or a NRI or an Indian origin citizen residing in the UAE or Bahrain or Morocco or tourists coming in from those countries, inbound tourism in India, how they can use that app and then seamlessly connect that and make UPI payments in India. When they come here, they don't have to use their cards or debit cards for international schemes, and vice versa. How we can take UPI Indian customers and we create a distribution channel in terms of POS machines and QR codes in other regions, so that acceptability of UPI can reach far beyond borders. That is our end goal. This is what we want to achieve eventually. And for that, the only way is to go to every individual country and get licensed. So we have got 4 licenses right now outside of India, and we are hoping for our licenses in different countries. We are currently speaking to 16 regulators across the globe, 16 central banks. We are hoping to get at least 5 more licenses next year and then the consecutive year. What Paytm wants to do is to create an ecosystem which is borderless. So, we believe that currencies should have no border. So that's what we're trying to do. And the main focus is to connect the domestic schemes of each individual country or open finance of each individual country and connect it together.
Okay, and as we come to the end of this conversation, I do want to ask you this, Mr. Gill. What kind of a role do you think India is playing in fintech leadership as we speak, and how much of a role are we playing in global financial systems overall?
I think if we see the current data, 49% of the digital transactions of the world are being processed by UPI. So that data itself shows how big role we are playing in terms of payments and in big role the UPI is playing. Also, UPI has set, NPCI and UPI has set very high standards in terms of how payments should domestically move. So if we talk about when we speak to 16 different regulators across the globe, everybody understands the UPI success story. And everybody wants to also focus on their own success story in the domestic markets. I think the government, NPCI has led a good example across the world when it comes to domestic payment schemes. I think today India is one of the biggest domestic payment schemes in the world. So the share of the education and the experience which India is lending across the globe is absolutely unmatchable.
Okay, so we're highly optimistic of where India is headed in this domain in years to come. Thank you so much, Mr. Gill. Wonderful to speak to you this morning. Thank you for joining us. All right, we headed a very quick break. With that, coming right up, we tell you how Smriti Mandhana's raced past legends to rewrite history. She's become fastest ever to script or score 10,000 runs in women's cricket. More details coming right up.